So, hey everyone, we've got today with us Neela Gohil from London, UK, and she is an international breakthrough coach, and she works in areas of love and relationship. So, let's see. Hi, Neela.
Hi, Anshu.
So, before this, like when I started recording, before that, we had lovely conversation, like what's it all gonna be about. So let's dive in straight away. How would you like to begin it as a chat, as you mentioned?
Yeah, so I think you wanted to help the viewers really understand, how they can be happy in these times. Well, be happy in life, I guess. So,
Yeah,
yeah. So I think it would be good to really explore what that happiness looks like for us, for both of
yeah,
us, you know.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
So I know you've done a lot of work in
hmm
the area. What are your key things that you've taken away from it?
Uh, what I have found is in my life, like happiness or unhappiness, whatever it is. I mean, first of all, it's a choice that a person has, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if a person really wants to be happy, he will be. And if he chooses to be unhappy, well, he will be. So it all depends on like where exactly your focus is in life, I mean, right? Um, and also what kind of action you are taking. So I feel a person can be happy or unhappy depending on where exactly his focus is, right? So that's what I found. That's what I've experienced in my life as well. What have you done?
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I've done loads of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. I feel that, I have the privilege each and every day to work with many, many people in my life,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
travel extensively. I also want to start by saying, how do we even know what happiness is unless we know what the opposite of it is? So,
Yeah.
I've not always led a really happy childhood and life. I've had a lot
Mm-hmm.
of ups and downs, a lot of adversity, and
Mm-hmm.
I would just say, through all of that, it's made me a stronger person. It's made
Mm-hmm.
me really grateful for life, for each and every moment,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something that I'm so grateful every day, because a lot of people say to me, how can you be happy all the time? But I
Mm-hmm.
say, obviously nobody can be happy all the time, right? Wouldn't you agree? um, are you
Yeah.
happy all the
Again, the same thing I would say. I mean, if your focus is somewhere which is not your, you know, area of influence or concern, probably you'll be unhappy, right? And
time?
yeah, and if you're focusing on, being an effect of, bad things that have happened or are happening in your life, probably you'll be unhappy, right? If your focus is on doing things rather than, just staying in effect, so being the cause of things to happen in your life, probably that makes a person at least happy, number one. Number two, he has hope, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that always sustains life, right? So that's been my experience.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, this is amazing, because I also believe that um, energy flows where attention goes. So I'm
True.
somebody who's done a lot of energy work. I've been on a spiritual path. I
Mm-hmm.
used to actually live in India for 7 years. I've stayed
Yeah.
with a lot of gurus, and I've learned a lot of different breakthrough techniques, and done a lot of inner work in me. And what I've
Mm-hmm.
realized is, like you're saying, it's really helped me get focused in my thoughts, get
Mm-hmm.
some clarity. It's like quite often we're not happy because we're kind of busy thinking about something else, and then
Yeah.
when you actually stop and say, well,
Mm-hmm.
where is this thought coming from? And then you
Mm-hmm.
realize that that's your feelings. It makes you feel a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I believe it's an energy game as well, and I believe it's a happiness is really comes from within you, rather
Mm-hmm.
than you looking outside to get happiness.
Okay. That's
Mm.
really nice. And how would you say a person, Well, most of the people, if you see, they are focusing outward, on external things. Like their belief is that if they get that, or if they have that, probably, they'll be happy. But ultimately it's not about that. You get a new car, you get a new mobile, you get married, you have a kid. I mean, people are looking for that, but that doesn't bring a long-term happiness. So as you said right now, that it's within you. So how would
Yeah.
a person, they go about, getting insight?
Yeah, so there's just some three magical words I'm going to share with you, and it's
Okay.
stop the search, because
Okay.
it's not something we are searching for. It's something
Mm-hmm.
that's actually within us already. The
Mm-hmm.
secret is to really tap into it, and I think that's what people are missing. It's like, well, how do I tap into it? Obviously
Mm-hmm.
some things bring you happiness, and I think it has a lot to do with your values in your life. What's really important to you. If it's
Mm-hmm.
family, that's obviously going to bring you a certain level of happiness. For
Mm-hmm.
me, if I just share with you my two of my values, one is contribution and one is love. So I
Mm-hmm.
believe wherever I go in my life, I'm always attracting those things, because when I'm
Okay.
not aligned to those things, I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel happy. So I'm
Yeah.
somebody who's naturally, I naturally attract people, opportunities in my life, which just allow me to give those things. And hence, I think that's why I'm on the path that I'm on. So I believe it's something, you have to go in within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you're going through a really bad time in your life, you have to
Mm-hmm.
stay with what's real. You can't ignore what's going on, right, in your life. I believe you have to
Okay.
sit with those painful experiences, those emotions, and be real, because that's half the problem. I think people are running away and looking
Mm-hmm.
outward, away from themselves, rather than saying, actually, in this moment, I feel sad. So instead of being the sadness, they're just running and looking for, the next way to be happy, whether that's eating, overeating, watching
Mm-hmm.
films, whatever they do, go drinking. And it is difficult sometimes. It just depends. It's all about balance. I feel you need to have a balanced kind of lifestyle and way of being.
Okay.
Uh,
Right. Hey, Neela. Are you there?
Hi, I think we
Okay.
froze.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I was saying the other day, I was reading something like this, that in order for you to actually experience love, you have to be in love, right? So, would you agree that the same thing applies for happiness as well? That in order for you to experience happiness, you have to be happy first.
Yeah, it's a state of being, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And I think we're missing a trick, because all of these things are emotions, they're states, and and we can choose to be in those states right now. It's that
mm-hmm,
easy. People go, well, how can I do that? And I go, well, just be it. And they go, well, how can you just be it? I said, well, just, you just have to, like, be in the moment, think the thought. Like with me, one of the things I love doing is, like, I notice when I'm feeling a bit low, the first
mm-hmm.
thing I'll do is I'll get up. It's about your physiology, right? It's like,
Right.
if I just put my head down and I just start thinking, oh, life's really tough, I'm going to feel crap. But
Yeah.
if I like get up and I've got my head up high and I wear, it's about also the kind of clothes you wear, the colors you wear.
Mm-hmm,
I think for me, it's the colors you wear, the food, the food you eat, the thoughts, the
mm-hmm,
environment you keep, the conversations you have. There's many elements. But I think, for somebody, I just think, when it's like, if you are feeling really low in that moment, just by just changing something very instantly, just like your posture, you
mm-hmm,
can feel different. It may just be 2 millimeters from that to that, but
mm-hmm.
actually it's going to make a huge difference. I know what I'm saying might sound simple, but
No,
just try it. Just try it, give it a go.
yeah, yeah, it does happen. I truly agree with you. that if you change, your like physiology, all of a sudden you maybe get up, start dancing, and maybe do some wild stuff, then obviously the energy
Yeah.
changes. But
Because we're not trees, right? If we don't
mhm.
like where we are, we can move.
Yeah.
We're not a tree. We move.
Mhm.
We can dance. We can do whatever we want to do,
Yeah.
and that's what makes us human.
Yeah. Okay, Neela, one question I would like to ask here. Like, what I have noticed is, like, changing the physical state. Yes, it does get you in a resourceful kind of state of mind, right? In the moment, at least, right? But if a person wants to really be sustain that, prolong that state of resourcefulness, what else do you think is important?
This is going to sound really simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about being. It's
Okay.
just about being here in the moment. It's like if we bring our attention right now just to
Mm-hmm.
this moment,
Mm-hmm.
there's no past and there's no future. And me and you, we're just here.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm saying. It's accessing this part of you that's always here. And that's always clouded by the noise. So if we can quieten the noise, it doesn't matter where you are, you
Mm-hmm.
can just access this in every single moment.
Right. Okay. Great.
Yeah, presence.
Hmm. Okay. Um, I would like you to share your thoughts on something what I have um, experienced and worked upon, maybe a bit, a lot actually. So, what I believe or have started believing is that if a person actually starts working on the communication, that people have within, I mean, internal as well as external,
Yeah.
probably that state could be prolonged. So, what would you say?
So what I'm saying is I've studied with a lot of masters, gurus, and what
Hmm.
I've realized is, for me, like you say, in each moment we're communicating, even if we're not saying anything.
Absolutely, yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
it's for me, it's actually I've actually gone into times where I've just been in nothingness. It's like a
Mhm.
state of no thought. So when you say, what am I thinking about? There'll be times like even now, I'm here with you, but there is actually no thought. I'm just here. And I just feel things flow through me. I mean,
Mhm.
I think that comes from practicing. I mean, for me, it's a spiritual practice. I didn't just get up one day and
Mhm.
suddenly it's like, I learned to access this. I've been through my tough times in life, but I feel
Right.
it's a state of being, and that comes from, practicing breath work,
Okay.
meditating, and there's so many different methods. I mean, in the early days as a healer, I used to teach meditation to people. I used to
Mhm.
teach them a lot of ways of how you can just access being present, because I think that unlocks the secret to everything. Whether you want more love in your life, whether you want more joy in your life, peace in your life, abundance, I think
Mhm.
whatever it is, you have to be aligned with who you are first. Once you're aligned with who you are and what's important to you, you
Mhm.
can, and you have access to this, you can tap into that. And then not only for yourself, but then how do you radiate that onto other people? Because in your interactions, you'll always attract those people that are in your vibration and your
Mhm.
frequency. So
Mhm.
it takes practice. It does take practice.
Okay. In this world of instant gratification, where like you mentioned, it's a practice. You've spent years and years to be here now, right now, right,
Yeah.
with nothing in your mind. Um, People in general, like the normal, like a life of a guy or a lady, like with so many responsibilities and stuff. If you speak to them, about meditation, being here, focusing, they'll say, okay. this is like too much work. Okay.
Yeah.
How would you say, uh, obviously quick fixes don't work. I know, right? So, how would you say a person can, like, you spent years learning this, right? So, how do you say, can a person uh, not spend that much time and try to,
Yeah.
be here?
Becomes a way of your being. I think, like I'm saying, if you practice something regularly over
Mhm.
time, it's just where you are. Like somebody asked me a couple of months ago, Neela, how do you meditate? Is it eyes closed? Is it eyes open? And I said to them, actually, for me, it's eyes open. It's actually being aware in each moment what's happening. I'm somebody. I wouldn't say, I'm somebody who's worked in the corporate world. I've also been in those situations where I've had the privilege of spending 7 years in India, going on all these kind of expeditions, and being on an inner journey of truth and all of that. But I've had to come back into the real world, and before I even went, I was in the real world. And I've had to overcome a lot of adversity. So what I'm saying, in that moment, there's simple things you can do is just breathe. We forget to breathe. It's just a very simple skill. You don't have to sit there. You don't have to chant Om for hours. You don't have to do any of that. It's just,
Mhm.
just aware in each and every moment. If you learn to catch your thoughts in a moment, and you just practice, you'll realize, oh gosh, that's what I'm thinking, and that's why I'm feeling this way. So that's
Mhm.
why I'm saying it's even in the business world, when people get really busy, I understand that they have decisions to make, they have deadlines to meet. I was in that very same trap. In
Mhm.
fact, I worked 15 years in corporate human resources, leadership
Mhm.
development. And
Mhm.
one day I was in that race myself. And one day I was so stressed that it's a long story short, but I was driving to work and my brakes failed. And as a result of that, it's almost the universe was telling me to stop. And I hadn't been listening, I hadn't been paying attention. And in that
Mhm.
moment, thank God I'm alive. The weekend, it was a Friday I had the accident. By the Monday, it was like, gosh, I need to pay attention. And actually, I quit my job. What I'm saying is, I decided in that moment internally that I don't want to do this anymore. So I think don't wait for the wake up call. If you know if you know some little things that you could do, which is just take a breath, just take a pause, work with your energy. I mean, some very simple techniques I can just share with you right now, which is
Mhm.
fabulous, if you allow me, just
Yeah, yeah,
just to
please,
become
please.
really
Yeah.
present. Just hold your thumb.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds crazy, but we have meridian points in our bodies.
Okay.
And sometimes at work, I used to tell the people, I used to say, look, if you feel stressed, you're in a meeting, or even if you're at home watching TV, you just notice, just hold your thumb. And this is all about worry. This is the energy of worry. And
Mhm.
you just hold it and you notice you start calming down a couple of minutes. And you can do that with all your fingers, in fact. Each
Okay.
one of these means different things.
Mm-hmm.
That's worry. Then you've got fear,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you've
Okay.
got anger, middle
Mm-hmm.
finger. You probably wonder why it's the middle finger, but that is anger. Then you've
Okay.
got,
People
then
do
you
that.
have sadness.
Mm.
Exactly. And the last one, I love this one. And I think
Mm-hmm.
this is where you're probably kind of coming from. When you're trying too hard, when you
Mm-hmm.
try too hard in your life, this is the one that you really need to hold, the little one. And the way
Okay.
to remember is get rid of worry fast. FAST. Fear, anger, sadness, trying too hard. And it's just a
Okay.
very simple thing that anybody could do, whether you're watching TV, you're in a meeting, you just hold your
Mm-hmm.
fingers and it will rebalance the energy inside, and then you'll feel better. You'll have more focus, you'll have more clarity. You'll be able to make more better decisions. And as a result of that, you'll feel happy.
That's great. Okay. So that was lovely, actually. Worry and fast, right? Stop worrying and fast, actually. Okay. Yeah, that was cool. I mean, okay, just to hold the thumb and the fingers. So cool. Let me ask you a question here. People, in your experience, as you've been in public life for such a long time, so people are more like unhappy, feel per se. I mean, okay. So
According to
they
you.
according to them, not according to me. Okay, they feel unhappy because of the choices they've made, or because of the circumstances that they find themselves around.
So what I'm saying is all to do with how you perceive life, right? If you perceive life as being hard and all of this, of course you're going to attract those things because you'll get what you're looking for. If you're
Right.
somebody who has a belief that life's really hard, life's going to be hard. So
Yeah.
it's very much to do with what you believe and how those beliefs come about. For example, when I was growing up, I had parents that used to fight all the time. And that's part of the reason why I'm on the path I'm on, helping people in their conflict, in their relationships. And I actually lost my mother to cancer at a very young age because of that. So what I'm saying, I could have grown up with the belief that, relationships are terrible. Life is really a struggle. If you speak up, you'll get hurt. I could have had a whole load of things, right, going on in my head. But what I've had to do is realize and look and say, right, where do all these things come from? They don't even belong to me, right? They've been programmed into my mind somewhere from my up. And the minute I became aware of what it was that was driving some of the experiences in my life, and I realized that I had to break through them, that's when things started changing for me. That's when I realized I have to create more powerful beliefs in myself. What's the truth here? What's my truth? So it's really that simple. I think it's really questioning, where do these beliefs come from? Do they actually even belong to you? And if you don't want them, you don't have to keep them. You can actually change them. And that's what I help a lot of my clients do, break through their beliefs so that they feel more confident, and also clear those memories that are probably stopping them from, because I believe a lot of what makes somebody unhappy in their choices, like you mentioned, is because of the memories they are holding on to. Because in the body, we carry so many memories. And if we can just get access to those, and we're able to feel at peace with ourselves and clear those, we'll feel much, much better, really. And then you can create the life that you absolutely want.
Okay. So just a sec. Okay. Yeah. So one last question to you here. You've obviously had very a life of great experiences, like traveling around the world, here, there, everywhere, meeting so many people. So if you have to give, say, one message to people out there who are watching this video, what would that great message be?
I would just say, stop taking yourself so seriously.
Wow. Okay.
Stop taking yourself so seriously. Stop taking life so seriously. Go out, have some fun. Life is for having fun. It's for learning. We're all like spiritual beings having a physical experience here. So have fun. That's what I would say. And stop worrying about what other people think of you. I think that's the biggest one I can say. If you can get to a point where you stop worrying about what other people think of you, and you go out and you just have fun, you'll have a wonderful, wonderful life.
Wow. That was really great. Okay. Oh, well. So we had a nice conversation, Neela. I'll be calling you back on these kind of interviews more and more because I would love you to share some of your experiences of life also, so that people can relate to and see, how exactly. Obviously, not my way of making choices in life, or the way I have dealt with things, or the way you have dealt with things. Obviously, we have different lives, we have different minds. But yeah, I mean, experiences and stories do um, have some kind of connect with people, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
totally agree with that, and I'd love to come back. And the thing is, I'm actually right now in the middle of writing my book that's going to be coming out within the next few months. And I'm really
mhm.
excited. All of the book is actually based on people's stories. Like you
Oh
say,
wow.
it's,
Hmm.
obviously we all have our own stories, but it's also the stories we tell ourselves every single day. And I think if we pay attention to what we're telling ourselves, then that's also a key thing. But thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure to see you
Oh,
again after such a while. And
yeah.
I love technology. It doesn't matter where you are, you can connect.
Yeah, obviously, and at least this COVID-19, got us to in these, Zoom meetings, and we can think of okay, that person we should connect with, after such a long time. So, that's really great. At least people are sitting home and connecting with people again.
And not even in these times, I think I've really enjoyed this lockdown. For me, it doesn't feel like a lockdown. It just,
Mhm,
because I'm so used to having my life like that. I've not watched TV in like 20 years. I don't own a television.
mhm.
I choose to focus my energies in what makes me happy. And I think that that's another thing, during this time, I would just end by saying, really energy flows where attention goes. Just focus your energy in an amazing way, and it's been wonderful to connect with you. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
same, yeah. It was lovely and my pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. All the best to you.
You.
Okay,
Bye.
namaste. Bye bye.